Welcome to the Keep the Faith podcast. I am your host, Tori. Yes. I know it's been a while, roughly 3 months since I've done a podcast. I know it's been a minute. And I was telling Don off the air, sometimes you have to take a break from social media. I took a break in November and December, so I'm back. And so I would like to introduce my guest, Miss Dawn. And I'm going to call you Coach Dawn today. And y'all, let me tell y'all how I met Don. I met Don through TikTok. And I've met some of the most genuine people from an app called TikTok. And I also want to show love to Reggie Taylor. Reggie Taylor was actually supposed to be the guest for today, but unfortunately, Reggie got sick. So he's actually going to be coming on at a later time. So I reached out to Dawn, and of course, she stepped up to the plate. And I really appreciate her for stepping up to the plate at the last minute. So today, I'm going to have Dawn tell us a little bit about herself. And today's topic is going to be the power of forgiveness. But Dawn, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much for having me, Tori. I'm excited to be here. Very, very excited. My name is Dawn Kristen Ellison. I am a life mastery coach, metaphysician, spiritual mentor, author, and transformational speaker. Born and raised in Los Angeles, California, currently residing in Las Vegas. Single mom of a 16-and-a-half-year-old son. Pray for me. Um, been in this line of work for over 10 years now, helping people get from where they are to where they want to be, to get in touch with their true self, the true them that was supposed to be here in this world, living out their purpose, living in fulfillment and joy, and being able to get through life obstacles with a bit more ease. I enjoy what I do. I love connecting with people. I love watching people grow and become the greatest versions of themselves. And I want to continue doing this work until my assignment is done.
Okay, and tell us about the book and affirmations apparel.
Well, my company is called Evolve Life Mastery, which is the umbrella of everything. In 2021, I co authored a book called The Unchained Goddess. It is me, as well as 8 other women from across the world, African American women to be exact. We
Mhm,
wrote, each of us wrote a chapter on our experience through our healing journey
mhm.
and how it started, where it stemmed from, and the results that we received after we went through that phase of our journeys. It's available on Amazon. It actually hit #1 in several categories after the first day, which was really, really awesome. Unchained Goddess on Amazon. Awesome book. Affirmations Apparel, which is the hoodie I'm wearing, actually stemmed from an idea I had just one day out of the blue. We're all into these graphic T-shirts having symbolisms and sayings and things like that. And at Affirmations Apparel, we believe your words are power. Most people say words have power. Words are power. You speak into existence whatever
Mhm,
you believe your truth to be.
mhm,
Um, it's to promote positive change in the world. It's to promote, um, positive conversations, and just to affirm our colors are only black and white because we believe that's what affirmation should be. You either are or you aren't. Black and
mhm,
white, no gray area. And the more people wear the shirts, the more they can
mhm,
affirm what they are. This one that says, I'm grateful, thankful, honored, and blessed. I have
mhm.
a variety of different shirts available. EvolveLifeMastery.com. Everything is there.
Okay, and also, I always tell everyone to, if anyone wants to connect with you, what are your social media handles on all social media platforms?
EvolveLifeMastery.com is my website. That is how you get to everything. I go by Dawn of the Aquarius on all social media platforms: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, um, and everything is connected. Everything is
Mhm.
you can't hit one without finding the other.
Okay.
And Linktree as well. Linktree. I have
Okay.
Linktree.
Okay. Now, the audience, the ones that are watching, I want you guys to interact. If you have any questions for Don, please put the comments in the box, and I'll put them on the screen. But today we're going to be talking about the power of true forgiveness. What is your take? And actually, when you remember we were talking about, there's a particular TikTok that I shared with you, what prompted me to want to talk about forgiveness. I'm gonna give you the mic, however you want to start. What true forgiveness means to you. If you want to use that example, how you explained it on that TikTok, you can. It's just up to you how you do it. But I just like we were talking prior to going live. Not only the people that are listening and watching may need this, but I know I need this for today
I
because
think we all do.
because forgiveness is an ongoing thing.
Yeah. Forgiveness is actually releasing yourself of whatever was trying to bind you or keep you locked into a situation or circumstance that was looked upon as more negative. Something or someone said maybe harmed you, an injustice of some kind, a betrayal. Um, and forgiveness to me is equivalent to freedom. It's a releasing. It's a not holding on or carrying the weight of holding negative space for anything or anyone. Um, the TikTok that you're referring to was a story that all true. That I used to be a hairstylist and makeup artist. I'm retired now. And I used to provide services to people I trusted to pay me at a later time because, they go to work and things like that. Well, this particular person did not pay as scheduled, which was completely abnormal. And I understood she was going through hardships, but in turn, it was business. So it's like, okay, communicate with me, let me know. And that didn't happen. And so over time, I developed a resentment. I was just holding negative space for her because I felt like, okay, she duped me. And so knowing that and knowing where I was at the time going through my own healing journey, um, I let it go to a degree. I let it go, but I had not yet forgiven her. Okay. Just to make a long story short. Um, as I was going through my own healing journey, I learned the art of forgiveness and how to apply it almost instantaneously with people or things that occur, not to hold and hoard and carry whatever negativity that is connected to whatever I should forgive or whatever I feel was done to me or against me. And so I prayed a lot, meditated severely, and found that forgiveness just became effortless. Any any negative feelings I held for a person, a situation from the past, I just released. I just didn't want to hold anything in anymore. And when she reached out to me, of course, years later, she asked, "Can you forgive me?" That's different to me than saying, "I'm sorry." An apology versus someone asking for your forgiveness is very powerful. That's saying, "Can you release me from me in that situation? Because I know I wronged you." She had already apologized before, but she went the extra mile to ask me if I could forgive her for it. That's a big deal. Um, but what I hadn't realized is that I already did, so I didn't hesitate to let her know I had already forgiven her. I didn't even remember that anything had taken place because it had been gone for so long from my mind space. And the message or the story behind the story with that would be, if someone asks you for their forgiveness, or if someone asks you for forgiveness, give it to them. Because when you've gone through this process of healing, of letting go, you never know what that person on the other side, what it could do for them. It's not only liberating for you, it's liberating for them, because if they know you have forgiven them and you're good, that's a freedom that is undeniable. And so if you can provide that for someone, not only are you continuously freeing it within yourself, you've literally gifted someone that opportunity to fly even higher.
Wow, that's powerful. I'm gonna go through a couple of the comments. Cynthia says this is absolutely needed. Karen says that's awesome. Cynthia also says forgiving helps us to forgive her just as much, if not more, than the person we are forgiving. That is powerful. Now, what do you
Indeed.
say to those people, Don, that may have those issues where this person hurt me, especially when it comes to relationships? This person hurt me so severely, broke my heart, and they feel as if they are unable to forgive. What could you say to that person to move them to forgive, even though they feel as if the hurt was so bad that they're not going to forgive? And of course, sometimes people that hurt us, I know for me personally, I can forgive that person, but sometimes if I see them, now I'm okay when I'm not seeing them. And when I do see them, there may be a trigger. So sometimes I ask myself, now, did I really forgive them?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes if I see them,
You'll
I
remember.
remember what they did. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Well, it goes like I was saying, I didn't even remember what she was apologizing or asking for forgiveness for. And
Yes.
that I had literally cleared it from my head and my heart space. Um, this goes into layers and layers deep of what relationships and connections with people are. Their experiences. You experience a relationship. You experience a betrayal. You experience an injustice. You experience it. Okay. Every experience is there's a lesson within it and an opportunity for growth. So most people in the world walk this place as a victim, meaning life is happening to them. They have no control. They don't have a say so. They can't make a choice. If you're a person who says you broke my heart because you did this, this, and this, in the real world, that's normal, right? That's a normal thing to say. But if you go layers deep, you could say, you disappointed me and didn't meet my expectations. That's a you thing now because you're not responsible for another person's actions. You can't you can't make someone do something or not do something. So it becomes a challenge for human beings because it is normal for us to say they did something and I am hurt by it. Maybe so. You did something. It affected me in a negative way. I've chosen to be hurt by it. That's our number one God-given ability, the power of choice. I could either say it affected me in a negative way. They did it either intentionally or unintentionally. They did it maliciously, maybe, or maybe they didn't have any malice behind it at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I am responsible for how I react or respond to their actions.
Mm-hmm.
I can't blame them for how I feel. I can only say, you did that, and it triggered something within me. It affected me in this way. But it's up to us to choose whether we're going to continue carrying that. It's easy to get mad at someone else, but it's very challenging for human beings to take self accountability. If you were lied to, that person was dishonest. If they betrayed you in some kind of way, that person, I can't trust them.
Mm-hmm.
They mishandled me.
Mm.
It really, I don't know if I can sum it up in one conversation, but it goes layers and layers deep to understanding. I won't allow you to do that again because the feeling I felt, the reaction that I had because of your actions, I'm choosing not to feel that way anymore. I'm not I'm choosing to forgive you for doing it, But I'm also going to forgive myself for allowing myself to feel that way. We can't take responsibility for other people, what they do, what they say, what they think, how they, we can't. And unfortunately, that's the dynamic that's been happening for generations. We want to put the blame on someone else for how we're feeling, when all
Right.
it is a cause, and this is the effect. You know, if someone is intentionally hurting you, yeah, that's different. But just because someone does something and they may not believe there's any consequence behind it, we we can't hold on to that for them. Does that make sense?
It makes a
We
lot of
we
sense.
we can't carry that to the point it's detrimental to us and our well-being, because that's how we deteriorate that much more within ourselves, within our soul, within our heart. And then we become scared. We allow fear to take the driver's seat. We don't want to trust other people because that person did this. It's the same thing I say, if you get into a relationship with someone and you were cheated on in every other relationship before that, you
Mhm.
automatically go into this new relationship in the red because you have trust concerns. I like to call them trust concerns, not trust issues.
Right.
You have trust concerns. So you already go in thinking this person's going to hurt you, instead of saying, okay, we're going to start at zero, and you can either gain altitude or you can go ahead and diminish as far as our trust is concerned.
Right.
But that comes along with, have you gone through the proper channels of healing, of forgiveness? Because forgiveness and healing is pretty much, they're like brother and sister. If you still hold negative space in your heart for certain people and things that occurred, you're going to also allow that to trickle over into your next relationships or your next experiences with people. We could have that with family members. We can have that with friendships. We could have that with jobs. We could have that
Mm.
in any circle that we reside in. It's just a matter of, what are you still carrying with you from your experiences that are negative, that you're choosing to bring along with you into the next experience. And
Done.
sometimes you don't even realize it until you're in that experience for it to come
Yes.
to the surface, to see it and face it head on.
Whew, you speaking to my heart. You speaking to my heart. Hold on, let me go through some of the comments. Cynthia says, "This is good."
Oh,
And then she also says, "I learned letting go and forgiving with getting or expecting an apology gave me a newfound strength and faith walk."
yeah.
And then Karen says, "So true indeed." And then when you said that it covers all relationships, all dynamics, what do you say to, and this is a personal for me, what do you say that when it comes to a child forgiving the absent parent? Because I'm trying to explain to because I actually had a conversation with a friend of mine in regards to, I've been teaching my son that I've been teaching my son to forgive the parent. Of course, his father's not a part of his life, and I've been teaching him to forgive him, and that if his father came, knock on the door, to welcome him with open arms. And
Mhm.
a good friend of mine has said, Tori, you have to allow your son to feel, even though I tell him to feel what he needs to feel, but I don't want him to hold any angry animosity or hatred toward his father. But at the same time, he's a teenager. He
Mhm.
has to allow himself to feel what he needs to feel. What would you say to maybe a child that may not be able to forgive that parent for not being there?
Well, that's actually my same situation. My son's biological father, he's never met him.
Oh, wow.
So there's a void
Yeah.
that no other human being will ever be able to feel completely. We can have, surrogates, we could have space fillers, but it's still that curiosity. Where do I come from? I need to see it. I need to hear the voice. I need to feel the person. I need to understand where I come from. So that's a void that unfortunately a lot of us, especially in the Black community, we experience because we have absentee parents. Um I always say everybody that can produce children is not meant to be a parent.
Mm,
It's just, and every person that can't produce children is probably meant to be a parent. It's just the cards that life is dealt to us. Um, I am partially grateful that my son's father did not participate in raising my son. And I say this because I believe God makes no error. We as human beings are flawed perfectly. And I had to find the forgiveness first so that my son growing up could feel there's no animosity. If anything, there's gratitude because that person gave me the greatest gift anybody has ever given and will ever give to me, my child, my only child. Um, it gets tricky because yet and still we're programmed in a certain kind of way to have certain types of feelings. But to understand that some people, even though they were part of creating this being, this person, doesn't mean that they were supposed to be a part of their journey.
mm,
Okay. Unfortunately, some people's parents transition.
mm-hmm.
They weren't supposed to participate in the upbringing of that child. They weren't supposed to have influence over how they think, how they operate, what they believe in. They weren't supposed to adapt certain behaviors and mannerisms. We can say nature versus nurture. Yeah, there's some similarities we may see naturally, but the way that person might have thought, their belief system might have influenced our children in a way that we might not agree with, or our kids might not agree with going down the line. It could have resulted in a relationship that was full of toxicity.
Mm,
We just don't know. But I've seen many, many great, great people who were raised by a single parent or no parent at all still evolve into the best version of themselves and become very successful. And then you've seen the opposite as well. It depends on how they are brought up. Are they surrounded by love? Is it enough love to attempt to compensate for that void? If they are fulfilled and secure, then it's less of a blow, I believe, than to realize, oh, was I, because they have questions. Was I good enough? What made them leave? Why didn't they stay? And so on and so forth. Of course, those are natural questions. And then they start to develop a feeling of self hate or a lack of self esteem because they don't, that's how they're brought up. But what I tell my son, this is true. I got to have full creative control over how you were brought up. Do you think I did a good job? How'd I do? I got to teach you things the best way that I knew how. Do you feel like I messed up anywhere?
wow.
If that's enough, take that with you. Because if we would have had this other party, it would not have gone this way. We don't know how it would have gone. We can't dream, we can't guess, we can't, imagine how it would have been because I don't believe it would have been as this good. We had some amazing experiences thus far, and we're going to have more. But let us find gratitude in what we do have instead of holding animosity or any negative energy towards what we don't. Because if that is the case, we'll be living in a place of lack, in a state of lack, rather than a state of abundance.
That's so good. Oh, that's so good. Let me show you this comment. This is Cynthia. She says, Dawn, you are a wise breath of fresh air.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh man. This is good to me. This is helping me. I'm actually going to watch this again myself because there may be some things that I am missing while we're on the air, but just to go back and watch the replay.
It's always better on the playback.
Oh my God. Because when I watch the replay, I'm going to be taking notes because you have said so much. I'm just trying to take it all in. You have given me a different perspective to ask my son, well, how am I doing? Basically,
Yeah.
just like we are given, you know how you every 90 days sometimes on a job, you go into the office and they tell you how you're
A
doing.
review.
Yes, that's what the
Yeah.
review. I need to ask. That's a different way. I like that, Don. And then I
Yeah.
also like the fact that you said not to say trust issues, trust concerns. I
Hmm.
love that because so many times we can get to, when it comes to relationships, we can get to the point where you forgive people, or so I've thought I've forgiven them, but then I become numb to certain people and certain things. And I don't want to be the point, come to the point where I am numb. I want to be able to truly and fully be able to love again. But
Yes.
sometimes I feel numb and I don't want to be content with being alone because God did not create us to be alone.
No, that is true. Um, but alone can be in, or not alone can be in different capacities.
Hmm.
It's about being very specific as to what it is you do want. You want a partner, you want a companion, you want a loving relationship, you want a husband, you want a life partner. Um, but in order to get past that numbness, you have to go to the source of what caused you to become numb. You have to get to that. If you don't grow through that, then you're going to carry that numbness or pieces of that numbness into that relationship because that's what's in the way of you attracting your person. It's standing guard. It's telling you to remember why that numbness is there in the first place. So if you don't go back to the source that caused it, what caused it? Heartbreak, rejection, abandonment, humiliation, whatever the emotional wound is that's at the base of your past, and why you're not able to attract that next person or the right person into your life. You got to settle the score with you. You've got to. That's why healing is so, so very important. The healing is also very painful because it's forcing you to look at you and how you responded and reacted to whatever occurred. I'm not going to say what was done to you because it was actually done for you. A lot of people don't realize that. If you were in a relationship like myself, I was in a relationship that I'm a domestic violence survivor. And I could have been a victim forever. I could have hated men. I could have become bitter. I could have become just this horrible creature that hates all men. But I believe in love too strongly. And I believe I'm deserving. Even when I didn't feel I was deserving, even when I didn't think anybody was ever going to want this package, I had to push through that and say no. I just picked the wrong person. I just selected the wrong partner, but that person had to show me just how low I could feel within myself about me in order for me to wake up and remember my value,
Mm.
remember my strength, remember my resilience, remember my beauty, my inner beauty. Remember how amazing of a person I am. Why? Because God did not make me like that. You helped me remember exactly how I was divinely pieced together. So now I'm grateful for you. Through all the pain, all the bruises, all of that, I'm grateful you got me to the point, my breaking point, to be able to see me again. But that takes work. But you also have to allow yourself to leave the victim room and go into the victor room. I survived. I got through it. I got past it. I awakened to say, this is not this is not what I'm supposed to, this is not where I'm supposed to be. This isn't who I'm supposed to be with. This is not love. God would not make, God wouldn't put me through this in order, unless there was something on the other side of it that I'm supposed to know and understand and see and experience. You know, because when we get off of our divine path, that's when things start going left. And it gets worse and worse and worse until we wake up and make new choices, make better decisions for ourselves.
Right.
So, getting to that, what did I do to get myself into this position? Not with the energy of blame. What did I do? Because I did something. If I'm in control and making all of these choices for my life, what did I do? What did I say yes to? And
Right.
when I could have said no.
Right.
What did
Right.
I allow to take place when I could have put a stop to it? That's self accountability. That's accepting, okay, I made the wrong choice. It's like you're in a game show and you get to pick door A or door B. Door A may have $20 million behind it. Door B might have a pumpkin. It's just
Right.
you picked one. So
Yeah.
you're either gonna win or you're not gonna win.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you still get something. You still get something out of it. And you could take that something and make it more grand, or you could take that something and look like, I can't believe I did that, or, you know, look at it like it's nothing, it means nothing. No, everything means something. Everything means something. And you just have to look for the lesson. You look for the lesson through the pain. You can't walk through life looking through lenses that say victim. Because if you
Right.
do, you'll stay in that room, you'll stay in that group, you'll attract more people who are victims, which will give you more conversations that victims talk about. They'll want you to stay in the room with them. They don't want you to leave, and then you'll never get to where it is God truly wants you to be.
Right.
It's
Right.
not in there. It's not with that group. Change your circle, change the conversation, change your expectations for yourself. But most people, they won't recognize that. They won't realize that unless they hear it and are ready to do the work and take action.
Right. And I'm a firm believer. I don't know if everyone thinks this way, but I'm a firm believer, even if I'm not on my healing journey, if I'm not all the way there yet, I'm careful of what I watch. I'm careful of what I read, and I'm careful of what the type of music that I listen to.
Very
Because,
important.
like, if you are always listening to these sad love songs, then I feel as though you're gonna attract some of, and then I am careful of different conversations I entertain. I'm very, if it's not positive, I cut it off quickly. And I listen to positive music a lot. Matter of fact, one of my favorite songs, when it comes to relationships, a song that I like to listen to on repeat is the Isaac Carey song Her, because he talks about his love for his wife, and he loves her as if how God loves the church. That's one of my favorite songs. But I don't listen to the sad songs anymore, because
Yeah.
that's not what I want to attract.
Yeah. Music is a frequency. It's a programming. You know, if you really look at it, they have
Yeah.
television programs
Yes.
and you have to turn the channel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to get to a certain frequency, and it's what you're feeding yourself, what you're feeding your
Right.
mind. And music
Right.
definitely, because music is a lot stronger because it carries that energetic frequency, that tone, that that's something the same way classical music might be really soothing and
Mm-hmm.
relaxing. It's a tone, it's a tempo,
Mm-hmm.
it's a vibration, whereas rock
Mm-hmm.
music is just loud, it's crazy,
Right.
right? And it just makes
Yeah.
your head go, it pulsate. It's very critical that you listen to music that fuels you, that inspires you.
Mm-hmm.
um, if you are in those sad spaces,
Mm-hmm.
If you are in those sad spaces, I will say that would be the only time you should listen to a sad song to cry it out, to get
Right.
it out of your system. Meaning that energy, negative energy, is the reason why you're sad. That's what emotions are, energy in motion. So you have this energy going on within your body, within your spirit, within your heart, within your mind, and it's creating chaos, which is why there is no calm. There is no inner peace. So that energy is just going bananas within you. And if you listen to that song long enough, or those songs long enough, you'll start to cry.
Mm-hmm.
Cry it out, because that energy, those emotions have to come out some kind of way. Just like when you're mad, you're angry, you hit something, you throw something. It's like if you go work out or go for a run or even just scream at the top of your lungs, that's still those emotions coming out. Because what happens after that? What happens after a good cry? What happens after you've done a really, really intense scream, or just, they have smashing rooms designed to help people release that anger.
Mm-hmm.
You usually feel a sense of exhaustion, right?
Yeah.
That's the calm.
Yeah.
That's the inner peace trying to get you back to that alignment with yourself, your true self, the way you're supposed to feel. It's like we want to, when people get on the phone with me or I'm in a session, usually they cry and they always apologize. Oh, I'm so sorry. No, get it out. Get it out. Because
Yeah.
once you allow the emotion to leave the room, now we can focus on the logic. Now we can focus on what it is we need to do. Now we can see with clear eyes rather than the blurred from the tears what needs to be done because of this situation occurring. We don't allow our emotions to just release and not take the driver's seat of the vehicle. Because
Right.
if we do, guess what? Your emotions are going to take you places you did not give consent to go,
Right.
until you learn how to control them. And I'm not saying control them as in keep them in. Give them permission to leave. Give yourself permission to feel peaceful again by allowing those emotions to just come out. Like, yeah, I'm going to cry until every tear is out.
Right. Right.
Every tear is out. And then I can guarantee you won't cry about it again. Not the same. Not the
Right.
same. But
Right.
when we try to hold it in, hold it in, hold it in, it we literally can implode.
Right. Now, let me ask you this. How important, and some people that are watching may not be familiar with this term, but how important is it to have and this is a term I learned probably a couple of years ago, and I'm hearing it a lot now lately over the past, I guess, about 6 months ago. How 6 months or so. How important is it for us to, in order to tie in the forgiveness piece, for us to have emotional intelligence? Because some people, when I say that term, they're like, what exactly is that? So if you could break that down to those that may not understand, because you probably can explain it a whole lot better than I can, but I
Mhm.
try to explain to people, because I've learned that once I became emotionally intelligent, I was able to forgive a whole lot easier.
Yeah. Um, I'm not exactly sure what the technical definition of emotional intelligence is, but I do know what it represents.
Okay.
It represents self-awareness. It represents how you function with all of your emotions, how you interact with other people on an emotional level, what you allow yourself to feel and not feel. Um, I always start out with everything, and pretty much encourage people to always be mindful and pay attention to what you do and what you say, and also how you feel. If you are a person, I have several friends that are like this, unfortunately, and I'm trying to work with them. If you're in a space and you're uncomfortable,
Mhm.
why are you staying there? Why don't you
Right.
leave? Are
Right.
you listening to your body? Are you listening to your heart? Are you listening to your mind telling you, we don't belong here? This is not good for us. If you don't have emotional intelligence, you will stay where it's not healthy for you. And then you will be more and more will be piled on you until you burst, right? If you choose to not listen, you'll go down the rabbit hole even deeper, and it's like, what are we doing here? um Emotional intelligence when it comes to forgiveness, I will say, is paying attention to how whatever it was that happened, whatever someone did or did not do, how did you feel about it, and how did you choose to respond because of it? But also paying attention and being mindful of the possible outcome. Now, if you're okay with, if I say this to this person, they might not like it. They may respond in a negative way. Nothing I can do about it. If they do decide to respond in a negative way, am I okay with this person not being in my life anymore? Or creating a distance, an uncomfortable distance? That to me is part of it, because when we do go through things with humans, we have to be prepared for those people to not agree with what we've chosen for ourselves. We have to be. And I my dream, like Martin Luther King had a dream. My dream is for everyone to always choose them first.
Mm-hmm.
Choose yourself first above anything. And that comes along, as far as I'm concerned, with being emotionally intelligent and saying, this is what's best for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not considering what's best for you, even though I am thinking about it. But I have to come first in my life. Who else is going to put me first? If I don't do right by me and how I feel and what I think and what I know is best for me, then I'm doing a disservice to myself. And that's not what we're intended to do here. We're always putting others before ourselves and ignoring how we feel,
Right.
ignoring our emotions, and allowing ourselves to continue beating up ourselves, allowing us to keep beating up ourselves because of what we've decided to do. Well, once you become emotionally intelligent, or can have this knowing of you and also how other people function,
Right.
you can
Mm-hmm.
make better choices, hopefully have better communication, and be able to live more harmoniously.
Right.
It gets really sticky because there's a lot of people walking this planet, and they're letting their emotions just completely drive everything. We see it in politics. We see it in the news. We see it in music. We see it in everything. Nobody can say anything. Nobody can do anything. Oh, that's wrong. That's right. No, you're basing it off of emotions that aren't controlled. And if you don't have control over your emotions, then you obviously aren't aware of them. So how can you possibly have emotional intelligence? And if you don't see it within yourself, how are you going to be able to recognize it in another person?
Right. 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 Because you know what? It's funny to me how some people, in my experience, they can be angry about a situation, or they can, because I don't, how it takes two people to argue. But because I refuse to just,
Typically.
yeah, Tiffany,
Because I tell you, I argue with myself all the time. Like,
Tiffany,
we need a board meeting. We need a board meeting. Here.
but you know how some people want to argue with you and they get upset because you were calm and you don't want to argue back. Because if I don't like confusion, I'll just be quiet. And that makes some people angrier that you don't want to argue back. Like, why? I'm not going to
Because
do this.
it doesn't agree with their ego. See, the ego always wants to be right.
Right.
The ego always wants to be right. When if you are a person who chooses, like myself, I'm the same way. If I choose not to argue with you, that means my ego's not involved and I don't have to be right. Even though I probably am right in this
Right.
instance, I don't have to prove it to you.
Right.
I don't have to prove it to you because at the end of the day, it's a battle. It's a tug of war. It's like,
Right.
no, I'm right. No, I'm right. No, this is right. No,
Right.
this is right. That right there is an ego-driven conversation that becomes an argument.
Right.
Somebody has to win. And there's a lot. If you're already a winner, you don't have to worry about it. I've already won my battle with the ego.
Right.
I have ego in check. So it's just arguments are ego based.
Yeah.
Disagreements are different.
Yeah.
Debates are different. But arguments, that's a totally different beast. And it's like, I'm not getting ready to do that.
Right. And here's an experience. Oh, and Cynthia says, she says, right. And then she says, boom. Liz, Cynthia, Dawn is dropping some jewels. I got to go back and watch the replay so I can take some notes. But ever been in like friendships? I've been in friendships where you may tell, a person, well, you not necessarily being argumentative, but you'll say, well, you said this a certain way that, your tone, the way you said it, or you did this a certain way, but because you're not, like I said, I'm not an argumentative person, but I may say, well, the way you say that wasn't cool, or the way you did that wasn't cool. But I've had people stop talking to me because I expressed to them how it made me feel. And I'm like, and I said, you know what, moving forward, I'm not going to do any more of these one-sided friendships, whatever. I'm not doing it anymore. So a lot of times people will get upset with you for making the best decision for you. Because Don, I'm using all day, every day.
we just, before we got on here, you just said something about meeting people on TikTok, and it's like, we've met some amazing people, we've met some not so amazing people. And I recently went through a chapter of meeting people who showed this is one-sided. This is one-sided. Okay, it's one-sided. Cool, no problem. Severed.
Right.
But they get mad because you do that, right?
Right.
But I'm understanding why people get mad when you basically think of yourself as an energy source, okay? Because that's what you are. People who are in need of this the same or similar energy that you possess, because they can see you, so they'll gravitate towards you and want to plug into you. Why? They need to extract from you. They don't have it anymore. Okay? They don't have it within themselves. So the moment you become privy to what they're doing and notice, wait a minute, this is supposed to be reciprocated. This is supposed, because good friendships, good conversations, good relationships, it should be a circulation of energy that's reciprocated from one to the other, meaning I fuel you, you fuel me, and we got a good thing going. It's a flow, right?
Right.
People that you're not in flow with, you're going to start feeling depleted. You're going to say, wait, this is one-sided. Why am I giving and pouring into you, but yet and still you're not pouring into me? I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to cut off your supply. You can no longer receive from me. They get mad because now they're starving. Now they're hungry. Now they need that air. They need that oxygen. They need that energy that they were getting from you that they have yet to figure out how to get for themselves. It's like a vampire. A vampire has to have its blood. A vampire has to have its source. It has to extract life from another living being in order to continue living, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the moment you cut it off. Okay. And the way a vampire can come into you is if you invite it in. It cannot cross your threshold unless you say, come on in. The same way those people cannot come and extract that energy from you and have that one-sided relationship if you don't allow it.
Right.
It's just that simple. And they will get mad, be big mad. In fact, put on a cape and be super mad. I want you to go ahead and do you, but you will not come to me to take what I have, and then I get depleted, and then I have to restore myself. That's not fair to me. And I am going to pick me, be fair to me, and love me. And basically, if you weren't supplying a need or providing a benefit, why are we here?
That part. That part.
I've gotten used to that. So it's like once I feel like, yeah, I'm a little drained here, or I'm not really interested, or I'm bored, it's time for me to go. Because
Right.
the relationships that I do have, and it's funny because someone asked me what was 2022, or what was the biggest impact, and I had to say it was the relationships that I established, because for the first time in my life, I started or continued establishing meaningful relationships with people, meaning that I'm excited to talk to you on the phone. I'm excited to
Right.
see you in person. I'm excited to meet up with you. I'm excited because I know we're going to have an exchange. You know, when you answer the phone for somebody and you're like, oh God, here we go. That's
Right.
not going to work anymore. You can tell somebody you got 5 minutes. That's all you get, 5. Just 5 minutes and okay, ta-ta. Because you have to be a fierce protector of your energy. You have to be a fierce protector of how you feel. You have to protect yourself at all costs these days, because there are people out here who are spiritually starving and they're dying inside. And those of us that carry this light, those of us that have this fulfillment within ourselves, those of us that have this inner power, people are seeking us, and people are also preying on us because they don't know how to get it. They don't know what it is. They don't even know they're doing it half the time. They just want to be in your presence. They want to be in your energy. They want to say they know you. They want to say they connect with you. They want to say that because they don't have it within themselves. That's one of the reasons why the work that I do is to show people you have it. Go find it. Stop leaning on another source for survival. Because at the end of the day, heaven forbid, everybody on the planet disappears or drops dead. Who are you going to extract energy from? It's already built within you. You've already come this perfect package. Go seek you. You're in there. Your energy, your light, it's all in there. Unfortunately, life situations and circumstances, traumas, stresses, dramas, all that stuff is what depletes people, and they have never learned how to restore themselves.
Woo. This replay is about to be lit. You hear me? It's about to be lit. Let me go back through some of the comments. Don, you dropping some jewels, bro. Hold on. Let me go back. Let me see where I'm trying to see which ones I didn't. Let's see. Karen says, I feel the same way too. I really don't like confusion either. I call that nerve-wracking.
Mm-hmm.
Cynthia says they don't want you to take your good energy.
Correct.
They are energy vampires.
Mm-hmm.
She said, preach, Dawn. And then she says, I'm suffocating them all 2020.
Exactly. You gotta and watch it joyfully. Eat a bowl of fruit while you watch it. I'll be like, there's nothing I can do. God gave me this supply.
Right. Facts. Give them a limit. I will not entertain low vibrations this life.
Hello. Yeah.
Karen says, I know that feeling all too well.
Yeah.
And she also says, I call all that negativity. And she's telling you to preach as well. Don, let me tell you something. when we end this live, I need you to hold on because we got to schedule another session because this was good. Now, y'all know we're gonna have to have a part two or something done next time. You gotta come back because this has been really good. Like I said, this replay is about to be really lit because I'm gonna watch it for myself, and this time I'm gonna make sure I have my notepad available so I can take notes because of course while we're live I can't take notes while I'm gonna miss something, so I'm gonna watch the replay and take notes. But once again, I want you to because I don't want to take too much of your time because we're actually reaching the hour mark. I try to keep it at 45 minutes to an hour because I don't like to take too much of people's time on a Sunday evening. But I want you to repeat your website, also your social media handles, and if anyone wants to get a coaching session with Dawn, please go to her website. Also, Dawn, let's see, show your shirt again. This is from her website. Grateful, thankful, honored, blessed. And all of her stuff has inspirational affirmations. Her apparel is lit. And matter of fact, that's what it's called, affirmations apparel.
It is
Everything, and this is another thing. I'm glad I said that because this is another thing. I'm very careful. Not only are you particular about what you're watching, what you're listening to, and what you're entertaining, but I am very careful about what I put on my body, especially stuff that has words, because words are so powerful. I'm not gonna wear certain things on my body. So I'm going to wear stuff that's going to be encouraging and stuff like that. That's just me. I just surround myself with positive people. And you said something where you have those, I have all my friendships now where the phone rings. I'm excited to get the answer. I'm excited to reply to a text. Like we created a circle of women. Like for my birthday, they did a surprise party for me, and we actually created a sisterhood. And like in it, we actually got a group message, group text. We encourage each other. We just tell each other good morning every day, and it makes a difference when you get a call and you're excited to answer the phone. You're excited to gather. You're excited to meet. That makes a huge difference. I was like, and something else you said too, which is so important. I pay attention to when I go places that I listen to my body. My body would tell me, Tori, I don't think we need to stay. And then some invitations, and please be mindful, people, every place that you are invited to, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to go. There's some invitations that I get automatically no.
Respectfully decline.
Right. Respectfully.
Respectfully decline.
Respectfully. And I'm trying to see and Cynthia says, yes, she has to come back.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. No, that means a lot.
Look, Karen says, bring her back soon as possible.
Thank you. That means a lot, ladies, because I say this to say I've been doing this work now. Well, my own healing journey started 16 years ago.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this work actually since 2018, 2019, actually, with people. Mm-hmm. It took me a long time to find my voice. It took me a long time to be bold enough to speak this way. But for a very long time, I did it, but I didn't believe anybody could hear me. It was almost like I was speaking to the walls. Mm-hmm. But I've over the past year, 2 years, almost 3 years, I've just noticed that people are really receiving me, even though I'm like, look, this is all spirit. This is all God speaking through me, using me, because that's the commitment that I made. I am a vessel. I am here to serve others. I am here to deliver whatever it is that God wants me to tell other people, to share with the world. And I take only a little bit of credit for it, but it's very, it means a lot when people validate. Even though I don't seek validation, for me as a human being, it tells me to keep going. It tells me to keep going because this information is needed. It's necessary. I've learned it. I'm still a student myself, will always be a student, but I feel like my purpose is being served.
It definitely is. And then I have one of my sisters from the group chat that I was telling you about. She said that group
Mhm.
chat is uplifting. When you got a group of individuals that pour into you and not take it gives you a positive mindset. And that is
Absolutely.
so true. And this is like
Absolutely.
the first time because of course in the African American community, we're all we hear all the time, you can walk into a room and you don't know that person, but you're making a judgment and assessment of them. These group of women,
Immediately.
and this is the crazy thing, Don. This group of women, like most of them did not know each other. And we like developed a sisterhood. I was the connecting link that everybody knew me, of course, but they met each other through me. They did a surprise party for me, and now we're connected and bonded for life. And now, of course, Don, you're part of the family now as well. So just so you know, just like I said,
Thank you.
you already see. They said you gotta have her back. So of course, you're part of the family now. So I'm like, Don,
Thank
hey,
you. I'm
what's
honored to be here.
like what's your scare? And then this is the thing. If I remember correctly, you said you're from LA, but you're living in Las Vegas.
Hmm.
So what's it like? I've never been to Vegas. What's it like to live there?
Boring. It's very boring. It's the
Are you
desert.
serious?
It's very boring. You make your own fun. Actually, before I came to the desert, I was a different person. I
Yeah.
came here and actually had my spiritual awakening. It's crazy. I moved here when my father was diagnosed with a terminal illness, which he still is moving through at this very moment.
Okay.
And it's been a roller coaster, not just dealing with family things, but it's also been me having to sit down with me. I left everything I knew. I left all my friends. I left my businesses. Everything is back in LA, and I go visit from time to time. In fact, I'll be out there for my birthday next month. But I had the comfort and love of my family being here, but still I had to go into isolation so that God could have my undivided attention, so that I could get to this point to be able to do this work that is definitely needed in the world. And yeah, I could say it's boring because it is, but I do love the quiet. I love the stillness. I love the isolation because nobody's knocking on my door randomly. And
Right.
I get to have my own getaway from the world. I go to the strip occasionally, but typically I'm not trying to give Vegas all my money. But
Right.
there's things to do. It just depends on what you're into. There's a lot of outdoor things to do here.
Right.
Um, but typically you have retirees, you have people raising families, and there's a lot of people coming from California to Vegas because, of course, it's more affordable.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm just saying, I love to travel a lot. I love to travel, but it's just like, okay, I need to get on a plane and go somewhere now because it's too
Right.
quiet. It's
Right.
too quiet.
Right. I would ooh.
So,
And see, that's me. I love isolation, but sometimes for me it's not good for me to isolate too much because
right.
then I get in my head and I'm a serial overthinker. So sometimes too much isolation is not good for me on a regular. So that's
Right.
why I have to do this. I have to do weekly meetups with my girls for my girls group. We do like weekly meetups, just to love on each other and just have a great conversation, just enjoy one another. But Dawn,
Absolutely.
this has
Oh,
been wonderful. This
it
has been
has.
amazing. So
It
make
has.
sure you guys, everybody's watching, make sure you share this live. Make sure you send it to people personal inboxes. Make sure you share it to your page. This has been amazing. I'm definitely gonna watch the replay. And like I said, Don, we end the live. I want you to hang on because I got to pull my book out so I can schedule again because the people already
Absolutely.
spoken. And I
Yeah.
know I'm when we end the live, I know we'll have some text messages and phone calls and messages waiting on when Don coming back.
We can do it soon, anytime. I enjoyed myself. EvolveLifeMastery.com is my website. It will connect you to all things social media, as well as keep you up to date with any classes and courses that I have. I have a lot of things planned for 2023. A lot of things: retreats, workshops, seminars, the whole nine. Um, I just started Conscious Conversations on TikTok. I'm actually going to be doing another one this Wednesday, which turned out to be really, really awesome. I don't know if you got a chance to catch
What
it.
time Wednesday? What time Wednesday?
I'm 5 p.m. Pacific, so that'd be 8 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
I'll be able to
And
do
it's
it.
okay. I'm gonna be a little late because Wednesday's my Bible
No
study
worries.
night.
The playback will always be posted on YouTube the following day. So I typically
I
will
like
be doing
live
that.
dive. I like live so I can interact in the comments.
Yeah, okay. Come on.
So
It's
make sure you say that again. Plug
yeah.
that so people can be looking out for that.
On TikTok, Donna the Aquarius is my tag. Also on Instagram. Like I said, the website has everything, all the links, and it also has the affirmations apparel link as well as the book Unchained Goddess link. Um, Conscious conversation is something that I've wanted to do for a little over a year now. We have all these conversations about getting into healing and people doing the work, doing the work, doing the work. A method to my madness was to invite people in on conversations that have already done the work and who are also teachers and leaders and healers and things like that, to allow people to hear how we speak normally to one another, how we interact with one another. Because, although the world is in a painful place at times, we're trying to show you the world on the other side of the healing and give you the real, give you the raw, tell you the pros, tell you the cons, tell you what you could possibly expect, and demonstrate how we got through it. And if you need us, we're here, because we don't come from a place of ego. We come from a place of generosity and thanksgiving, and we just want to serve others and allow people to get to a healing space, a fulfilled space, a happy space if they can. And we understand that it takes work, time, and patience. But yeah,
Right.
it's another one of my babies that I intend to not just have on TikTok, but I do intend to bring it to a bigger platform so that the masses we could begin to normalize the
Right.
verbiage that we use, the way that we speak together. And here's the funny thing: just like you and I just literally met here on this podcast today, we've
Yeah.
gone back and forth via text.
Yeah.
These are people I've never actually had a conversation with. These are
Yes.
and to see the connections that people are like, wait a minute, you've never, no, never, because we have an understanding and an understanding on a higher plane that we know how to completely dive in, and we get each other. We speak the same language,
Right.
so it's an incredible thing.
This has been amazing. And like this is and like Don said, we talked like on TikTok, but this is the first time we actually talk like face to face. So just imagine when we meet in person.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
It's gonna be amazing. And let me go through a couple of comments before we wrap it up. But like I said, hang on, Don, once I end the live so we can talk
Absolutely.
backstage. And Karen
Absolutely.
says, great and interesting information podcast. Love it. And she also says, could she type all of her information? I'll do that. Matter of fact, I'll do that. Matter of fact, Don, you could actually type the link.
I
Type
get to
the
put
link.
it in the chat.
Yes.
Okay.
And also, I'm interested into listening to her. Yes, please make sure you listen to her
Thank
podcast.
you.
That's this coming Wednesday, 5 p.m. Central Standard. Wait a minute. 5 p.m.
Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern.
5 p.m. I can't say it, repeat it. I can't certain words. I'm a Southern girl.
Five.
So
Just say
words I can't
8
say.
p.m. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And Karen, that's like 8 p.m. for you because Karen is on the East Coast like me. So that's 8 p.m. for you, Karen. So that's on this coming Wednesday. And you can actually make sure you guys, if you're on TikTok, make sure you follow her, Dawn the Aquarius, on TikTok and Instagram. And also make sure you subscribe to her YouTube channel. And the YouTube channel is, what's the YouTube channel? Because I subscribe.
Evolve with, I don't know, Evolve Life Mastery.
Okay. evolvelifemastery.com. And yeah. Matter of fact, Don, put it in the general, put it in the not the private chat, the other one.
The comments?
Yes, put in the comments. Because they can actually see, like, the private chat, only I can see that, but when you put in the comments, everybody can see it.
I don't think I.
And even if you go after the live is over, you can also type in the link there as well. Because what some guests choose to do, they actually post their link tree in the comments as well. If you want to do that once the live is over.
How do I add in the comments? It's not giving me a.
It's not. Well, what you can do once we end the live, you can go back and put in the comments that way. But make sure you guys check her out this Wednesday. And most of my viewers that actually commented today are on the East Coast. So guys, that will be Wednesday, 8 p.m. for you guys that are on the East Coast. So
and then I'll have a promo flyer if you want to add it or send it out to your people.
Yeah, definitely send it to me. Send it to me, and
I'm probably gonna post it tomorrow. I'm just waiting on a response email.
Okay, cool.
From my guest.
Once you post it, then of course I'll share it, and I can share it to I'll share it on my TikTok platform, and I'll also share it on my Facebook page as well. So once you get it, I'll share it for you as well, because it's all about I'm that sister friend. I believe in promoting people. That's just me. Because I tell people all the time, when I come on my platform, it's not about, for me, it's about having quality content and being live, actually talking about something. So I'm never going to come on and I don't have something to say, or I'm not led to say something. But I was like, you know what? And like I said, I've been following you for a while, and I was like, Dawn is so cool. And like I said, y'all, they did like a meetup. When did y'all have that meetup when y'all were in Atlanta? Was that like a few months ago?
That was October. Yeah, that was in October.
And and I had that particular weekend, I had something else going on, but I wanted to be there so bad because I really wanted. Another person that I talked to, I've never met him in person, but you know who I would love to meet? Random Ro in person.
Ro and I have been friends. We've been friends almost 8 years now.
Really?
We didn't meet on TikTok. We connected on higher levels of just. He's had podcasts in the past and does similar work to this, but super cool guy, very, very knowledgeable. I think he'd be great to have on your show too.
And and I'm glad you say that, because I was thinking while you were talking just now, I was like, you know what? They have both of y'all at the same time. That would be phenomenal.
And reach out and see, and we'll go from there. I'm always up for.
And Cynthia says this was so informative. Thank you, Cynthia, for watching. So, and she was one of the people say you got to have her back as soon as possible. So, like I said, y'all, I'm gonna see what I can do, because I'm pretty sure Dawn, has a busy schedule, but I'll see what I can do, you guys, to have her back. But this has really been a blessing, not only to me, but those in the comments. And of course, like I said, there's some people that watch, but they don't necessarily comment.
Right.
But you want to be telling me, oh, that was good. They because I always make sure I'm very strategic about who I bring on my podcast. I'm very strategic. It has to be a God thing for me. That's just how I am. I can't just have any, you know what I mean? That's just how I am. It has definitely be a God thing. So I really, like I said, I really appreciate you coming on at the last minute. And what was so cool about it, you was like, sure. Some people are like, well, let me check my schedule outfit. You was just like, sure, just let me know. And it was the
just let me know. I have the most flexible, busy schedule I know in the world. Like I look at my calendar, I'm like, oh yeah, it's jam-packed, but it's like, it's really, I don't know how to explain it. People say, well, no, you tell me your schedule.
Yeah.
And then we'll work from there, because it just always works out, which that's pretty much my life slogan. It always works out. So
I love it. But I'm looking forward to having you on again. And you guys, thank you so much for watching. And like I always do, I always say at the end of the podcast, I always tell people life happens. No matter what we go through in this thing called life, you may bend, but don't you dare break. And everything that happens, always remember to keep the faith. No matter what it looks like, no matter what the circumstance, always see the positive in any situation, no matter what it looks like. And once again, thank you all for watching. And I'm going to see when me and Dawn talk backstage, I'm going to see what I can work out in her schedule. But you guys have a nice night. Peace and be blessed. And we're
Peace and
out.
blessings.
Talk to you guys later.